we came here and we started connecting with different organizations, not the least of which is XP Services. These are guys that refurbish and sell these Black Hawk helicopters, and they bring these things in volunteer, and they bring the pilots, and they donated over $250,000, over $300,000 in airtimes. These things don't fly for free. The fuel, the engines, all of that, they bring it in just to help all of these people in this impacted zone. Unbelievable, the professionalism and the generosity from XP Services based in Tennessee. And when we see there's this network of churches that are working with Samaritan's Purse and Medic Corps, and then we find out that they don't have any comms, and so we reach out to Elon Musk and SpaceX and Starlink, and we find out that they're gathering data and spreading these Starlink units about, but they've got more that need to go out. And we say, okay, well, let's make that part of it. And so we started bringing these organizations together. And so for the last few days, we've been up here meeting these people. And let me tell you something. I'm not hearing anybody tell victim stories. Every time I meet somebody, they're saying, hey, thank you. How can we now help? What can we do? These people up here, they're making their own way. They're wanting to help out. And you know what? Pretty soon the headline's going to change. There's going to be another story, another storm. But this crisis is going to go on not for weeks or months. This is going to be a problem a year from now. And somebody's going to need to keep a spotlight on it, and that's what's going to happen at Merit TV. Starlink is committed to this. Samaritan's Purse is committed to this. Medic Corps is committed to this. There are people that understand it and care. And we want you to be committed to it too. You can go to meritstreetmedia.com and it'll tell you how to help. You can go to DrPhil.com and it'll tell you how to help. We want to stay involved and help these people, because I tell you what, we may be in a catastrophic zone, but I've met hundreds of people up here, neighbors helping neighbors. Not one time did I hear anybody say, hey, I see you down there in my basement shoveling out mud. Are you a Democrat? Are you a Republican? What are your pronouns? I didn't hear anybody asking any of that. You know what I heard them say? Thank you, neighbor. Thank you for helping me. How can I help you? Because what I saw was America at its best. Made me proud. Day 2 has really been to focus on Starlink. Elon Musk has been so generous in coming together with these Starlink units. So many of these communities are isolated because it takes this kind of machine to drop in the mountains. We're able to get in there and bring them not only supplies, but these life-saving links so they have communication with the outside world, asking for medications, medevac out of there. We're focusing on the biggest need after food and water, a way to communicate. And it's dropping into the 30s next week.
Yes, sir. Don't step on the back part of it if you can get up there.
I can. Right now, we're in the 80s. It's hot. They need water. All of a sudden, a big cold front's coming through, and now it's going to be coats, warmth, blankets. Things are changing really fast. And another storm's heading for Florida. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hey, Mike McGraw, SpaceX.
Here, Edward Brown.
Yeah, John Duggar.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
So, all right, I know you're tired.
Oh no, we're ready to rage now.
Let's do that.
Yep.
All right. So
yep. We just talked to the locals.
Yep.
We got a good lay of the land, and I think we've already got a good list of basically where a lot of the Starlinks are going to make a big impact. One of them is a pharmacy. One of them looks like there's an elementary school that was basically part of the list anyway as well. So we'll grab those and get them in there.
All right.
And get them started. So.
All right, buddy.
Yeah. We'll follow the Kubota because he knows where he's going.
Yeah.
And then just caravan down, and whoever wants to hop in the truck.
Heads up.
That's all I need is for you to drop DrPhil and Edward off of that gum cliff.
What you hear, guys? We're all tired, but it's inspiring to see people wanting to help, wanting to send stuff. We've helped open up camps so people can live and stay that's been displaced. I mean, there's so many things that the Lord has done in the last few days. It's just been, I've cried more in the last 2 or 3 days just seeing how the Lord works than I've cried in 15 years. And it's me being lesser and realizing God's in control of some things. You just need to do what you're supposed to do. That's, to me, is what I've seen so far, is God maneuvering things to happen.
Some of them are running by generator, and some of the power is starting to come back on. Without Starlink, we would not have communication to get our requisitions here.
Now you break this down into phases, like the first few days, what do you call that phase?
First phase was, it was going to be search and recovery.
Okay, and then what's the second phase?
We're following backup with every homeowner that we touched.
Okay.
And making sure that those that stayed in place and didn't evacuate are still okay and don't have any needs. And then we'll just continue that. The mission's going to start changing, and it'll focus more on sustainability and long term.
So generators and heaters are a big thing.
Generators and heaters are going to be an extended mission. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, you get out in other parts of the country where life's normal,
Sir.
and they forget about what's happening back in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got to tell them. We got to keep it on their minds.
There's some really small communities here that won't have power for months.
We're at South Toe on the edge of Burnsville, and this is so important because we're talking about Starlink. Tell us how these things work and what they're doing.
The way that these things work are, we have satellites obviously that are around us, and we have a big nest of them, and we continue to be able to beam them down. And all you have to do is simply plug them into the wall and point them to the sky, and they'll make contact. And so what they do is they have the ability to just give us instant internet, and then you can utilize those and we can nest them together so that you can go down a street and have internet pretty much down an entire street.
As you've seen, lives being saved for people needing medications, needing medevac, people that have gotten, particularly in a high stress situation like this, that had to get help. Without this, lives would be lost. I'm sure lives have been lost when they didn't have these things up here.
Yeah, it certainly starts to get quite emotional because of being a part of this process now for the last week. We have saved a lot of lives, like a tremendous, and that's the only thing that I keep hearing whenever we go into these devastated areas and they have a Starlink. The way that they were able to communicate in the very beginning was because somebody already had one,
Yeah.
and we were delivering more supplies. And the big one is I was able to get my parents out because I knew where they were, or because I had Starlink, and I was able to help my family who had medical attention, or I needed medical attention myself.
I'm Dr. Phil.
I'm Mary Blevins.
How are you? Hi, how are
Jenna
you?
Blevins.
So these are our Starlinks, and we wanted to get you one, right? Because it'll help you out tremendously where we are. It has to be set up in 5 minutes. That's our mandate. It has to be the easiest thing that you can set up. And basically, you plug it in and you point to the sky. That's it. That's literally how fast it goes.
We're not actually operating as a fire department doing all this. We are a satellite station for our Mennonite church down here.
But they're prioritizing when we give them the generators. He was telling me they'd give them to people that need them with like medical needs and issues, the elderly. So the church will prioritize where it needs to go.
Right, that's so great,
not
because
a
you all
free
know
fall.
everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of the
Yeah.
stuff we've got in donation, it's other people here giving, and they
Yeah.
barely have themselves, but they're
Yeah.
making sure, like, and that's how the mountains work.
That Samaritan Purse, they've been lifesavers.
Yeah, they have.
Really good organization.
Yeah,
They were here before anybody else, and they've
yeah. A lot of these
showed up.
A lot of those communities are cut off. You can't get to them by road or rail. The only way you can get in is by helicopter. I called Elon Musk and got hundreds and hundreds of these Starlinks to spread out among, so y'all can.
Well, we do appreciate all you're doing.
Yeah, well, Samaritan's Purse is. Let me tell you, they make the government blush because Samaritan's Purse.
The government ain't even been here.
No, but it's Samaritan's Purse are the ones that are doing everything.
Well, thank you for coming because you made
Well,
everyone's day just.
Yeah.
Everybody lit up when we heard you were here.
Well, it's Samaritan's Purse are the ones. They're the doers. You know, this has been a real coming together of different organizations, and our focus on day 2 has really been to focus on Starlink. And Elon Musk and SpaceX has been so generous in coming together with these Starlink units, which really have solved the comms problem, because so many of these communities are isolated. And these are absolutely life-saving connections. And so working with SpaceX and Samaritan's Purse and so many volunteers that bring these Black Hawk helicopters in, because it takes this kind of machine to drop into these valleys in the mountains. We're able to get in there and bring them not only supplies, but these life-saving links, so they're instantly, under 5 minutes, up hot on the internet, so they have communication with the outside world, asking for medications, medevac out of there. So Elon has said, look, hook these things up, wants them hot within the first hour that they're there, and has said it's free for everybody for 30 days, then forced a code in that just made it free where people won't get locked out so they can use it in these affected areas. So we've been bringing these mini links. It has saved so many lives already. I mean, we're talking dozens of lives that have been saved by people being able to get their messages out so we can get in and help them and get them the medications they need or get them out of there. That's been the focus through Samaritan's Purse, SpaceX, all the volunteers for these Black Hawk helicopters. The pilots are coming in volunteer, the helicopters are volunteer, and when you come in, the people are so happy and so uplifted to get the help. So thanks to Elon Musk, thanks to the technicians, thanks to SpaceX. It's just absolutely such great work we've been able to participate in.